Who would have thought? Who would have thought Ohio to be so important in the parody, humor, and satire values that remain in our society? P.J. O'Rourke, so sorry. You're gone, but hopefully your kids, your widow won't be offended. I can't say your name well. O'Rourke. He was from Toledo, Ohio, and from right here in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, we had the madman Douglas Kenney. So you had, PJ went to Miami University where my parents went, and Douglas Kenney was a prep school boy and went to Harvard and went from Harvard Lampoon to National Lampoon. PJ lasted obviously much longer than Douglas Kenney. Ask Chevy Chase. And he got more and more conservative and went from shock value, one-liner humor to much more interesting, intricate, inquisitive looks. Still had the same spirit, but did it much more intellectually and laid out his arguments much more succinctly and not in the shock value way that pushes so many away. So while I learned much of my sarcasm, humor, and attitude from these National Lampoon guys, that editing function's probably not as strong in me as it is in PJ. So enjoy this interview. PJ's no longer with us, but the magic of magnetics, he'll live forever.
Wills and Coleman on duty. This is Bill Wills. Good morning. Thanks for making us part of your morning. Appreciate you being there. Peace Kills, the latest book from P.J. O'Rourke, the pride of Toledo, Ohio, longtime writer at Rolling Stone. Written some interesting stuff over the years. P.J. joins us via satellite from our New York studio this morning on WTAM 1100. P.J., it's great to have you on. Thanks for the time.
Oh, well, thanks. From one mistake on the lake to the other.
In looking at this fascinating read, because you traveled a lot to write it, but I wanted to start with something I even found in the first part of the book, talking about foreign policy. We Americans hate foreign policy because we hate foreigners?
Yeah, and we hate foreigners because we are foreigners. We all came here from someplace else, even if it was 10,000 years ago across the Bering Ice Bridge, or land bridge, or whatever it was that people came across. And, we came here to get away from all that stuff. If we'd wanted foreign entanglements, we would have stayed home. We wouldn't have come to America. So we resent it a lot, But then again, when we try to go isolationist, that's been successful. Unfortunately, it was successful for Hitler and Tojo.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, briefly.
Right. You start with Kosovo, and there's been some that have tried to compare Iraq with Kosovo. You went back there to visit. How are things in Kosovo now?
Well, not so hot so, and I think that the problem in the Balkans in general is that everybody in their right mind in the whole Balkan Peninsula moved to Cleveland, right, and lives in Parma.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Where they get along fine. The Croats and the Serbs and the Albanians and everybody gets along great, and it's just a matter of like which restaurant you take mom to on Mother's Day. It's like where you buy your sausages, and even that is not always so clear. It's our experiments with nation building over there are, it's quieted down. I think that's about the best you can say for it.
Let's jump over to the Middle East, where, of course, we are deep into it right now. You spent some time through Israel in that area?
Israel, Egypt. Over the past 20 years, I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. I love it. I've always been treated really well. I like all the people over there. They, again, don't get along so well. But why is it when they come to America, they get along fine? You drive into Toledo, especially from the south. You know what you see, the first thing you see driving into Toledo? One of the largest mosques in North America, in Toledo, Ohio. And are they fighting downtown at the Mud Hens? Do riots break out at the Mud Hens ballpark between the Jews and the Arabs in Toledo? I don't think so.
Post 9/11, there were a lot of images around out of Iraq and out of the Middle East. Some were happy that we were hit. A lot weren't, though. I mean, in fairness to those people in that part of the country, right?
Yeah, no, I never heard anything from anyone in the Middle East except sympathy about 9/11. These people are experienced with terrorism. They know what terrorism can do. And even when they get really angry and might favor a certain amount of terrorism under certain circumstances, they're no more murderous than we are, And, I think that one shocked absolutely everybody. But then when it came time for us to respond to that, some of the sympathy went out the window.
PJ, we've just lost a great president in Ronald Reagan. If 9/11 were to happen on his watch, what do you think would have happened?
Well, I think he would have responded very swiftly and very certainly in Afghanistan, much the way George W. did. I think he probably would have responded the same way in Iraq. This is hard calls to make, but I think Reagan would have been more realistic about what the aftermath of these situations in Afghanistan. And I think Bush went into this with this wonderful, sweet idealism that when everybody was free in Iraq, that they would be free to become Americans. No. There are a lot of Iraqis that already became Americans. The ones left back there were free to be themselves.
Peace Kills, the latest from P.J. O'Rourke, America's Fun New Imperialism. It's a good read, a great read, I should say, as we have come to expect from P.J. P.J., thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
Wills and Coleman in the morning.
Start each weekday in 4.
In-depth team coverage of all the morning news.
The big story of the morning.
With updates every 15 minutes.
New information indicating
Sky Chief traffic.
Pretty much busy everywhere now.
Channel 3 weather.
Showers and thunderstorms moving back in.
2020 sports.
Total Tribe coverage.
baseball's so mental.
Jake Westbrook, 90% of his games half mental.
Paul Harvey News.
Good morning, America.
Newsmaker interviews.
Brigadier General Mark Kimmett joins me from Baghdad this morning.
Terrorists want to take over this country for themselves.
When you need to know, mornings with Wills and Coleman. News Radio, WTAM-AM 1100.
Thanks for watching Cleveland Live Music. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button. And there's further subscription options listed below.